Hello friends, Cheryl here with Ink Pulp, and I am back with another Margarete Miller challenge. This is week 30. So I have a story to tell today, and I'm not going to show you the prompts until the end. And I'll tell the story, and then we'll go back and look at how the prompts fit into this story. So I have these pieces that tell our story. The first thing we're going to do, and I'm not going to tell you this part of the story just yet until I get to it in the story, but I am going to glue down this recipe as a background. Okay, so let's put that down first. And then I'll start putting the pieces down and telling you the story. I thought this was kind of a fun way to do this week's challenge is with the story. And it's a story of a couple from back in times when, a lot of our young men had to go off to war, but this young man, he came home, he made it home successfully, and he met up with this girl, and it's the story of kind of their reunion, things he brought back with him to give her, from being in the war in the different countries. He was in war in Europe, and I'm not sure which, and it doesn't really matter which one. Just the fact that, he had been in the war. That's all we really need to know. Let me see if I can get that to stay down really well. This pretty much covers the whole thing. There's a little bit I have to cut off, but not much. So how are y'all doing this fine Monday? I'm a little late getting my challenge posted. It usually goes up first thing, in the middle of the night on Monday. But I didn't have it done yesterday, and I was doing other things, and so, all right. So here we go, and I'm not seeing my little credit card to smoosh things flat. I don't know what I did with it. So we'll just take one of these ink containers. I got lumpy stuff on the other side. It's hard to pull it straight. That's about as straight as we're going to get it. And then I do want it to stick real good in the spine there. All right, let's start telling the story. So this is Jim and Sue. And Jim and Sue were in love, but Jim had to go off to the war and, fight for his country and do his duty. But he came back, and to Sue's delight, he wasn't killed in the war. He made it home, and they were still madly in love. So they met one day out by the tree, and Jim said, "I have so much to tell you." He said, "First of all, you should have seen the deer over there. They were everywhere, and they were huge, and they had these antlers that were it was just amazing, and they were everywhere over there. So I wanted to tell you about those." And she said, "Well, Jim, you did tell me a little bit in your letters about them, and I kept every letter that you sent me. I have every single letter that you sent me. They're all handwritten, and they're all from, the various places over there in Europe that you were." And he said, "I'm glad you kept all of my letters, because you know how much I love you. So I have this little tag for you, and it's full of a lot of information. First of all, you see there's a dress form on the back. That dress form, well, I'll come back and tell you what that's about in a minute. And then there's this little barcode tag, and that's a very special barcode because if we turn it over on the back, you see that that's the barcode for the ring I bought you. And I paid a whopping $15.74 for that ring. And I want you to marry me. And so over on this side, I have the dress form that is for your wedding dress. And I've got a little bit of lace down here at the bottom of the type of lace I'd love to see on your dress. And she said, "Oh, Jim, I love you so much. Yes, I'll be your wife." He said, "Well, I'm so glad you're going to be my wife because I brought home these instructions, this recipe from France, and it's for stuffed French toast strata. And it was a wonderful recipe. I had it over there, and I'd like you to make this at least once a week in our married life together because I want to, remember the French culture, and this recipe was so good. So we'll get married. You'll get your dress form made the wedding dress made, and I've got your ring, and I didn't spend too much money on it, and we'll have French toast strata once a week." So that's the story of Jim and Sue. So let's start putting this stuff down, and then I'll show you the prompts. And Jim and Sue, by the way, they did get married and lived happily ever after. All right. So we've got that. I'll put that up a little bit higher. We've got those beautiful deer that Jim saw while he was overseas, and they were everywhere. And he, as a country boy, he used to be a big hunter, so he was just thrilled to see those great big deer. All right. Now, I am going to remember, because I want to tuck my prompts in the side there. So let me get this on, and then I'm going to, put on our little tag up here, and then we'll look at the prompts and see how they fit into the story of Jim and Sue. So much fun. All right. So we'll put Jim and Sue. I love this quote down here. "Age does not diminish the extreme disappointment of having a scoop of ice cream fall off the cone." Isn't that the truth? So let's see. I want to put this up here, and I want to put it on with another brad. So I'm going to poke just a little hole in here that I can get a brad through. And then I can go back and put a little washi tape or something on that, on the other side to cover it up. So let's see, what do I have for brads? I just had them out to get that. Let's use a black one because I already have a black one in the... So I've got that up there now. Why does this happen to me? I just had it. I just had my little tag. Well, it's on the black ribbon, so it's going to be okay. There it is. I say, What did I do in a former life to deserve to lose everything every time? Okay. So I've got that there, and I want to really push it down hard. There we go. And so now we've got this little tag on here. I want to wrap this around one more time. There we go. All right, so there it is. There's the story of Jim and Sue. So let's take a look at the prompts. Something that lives in a forest. Well, that's going to be our deer. Some handwriting. That's the handwriting that's on Jim's letters that he sent home to Sue. A barcode was the barcode for the engagement ring. Black and white photo was Jim and Sue out by the tree. The math symbol was the $sign for the price of the ring. And the bonus was instructions, which was our recipe for the stuffed French toast strata. And then this, I'm going to leave these here for now until this dries because I think the glue's still a little bit wet in there. So that is, and I think I need to do one thing here, and that is go around these edges and just ink them up a little bit. So anyway, that's the story of Jim and Sue. I hope you liked it. And if you did, please consider giving me a thumbs up before you leave. And stay tuned. Go look for other people's Margarete Miller challenges as well. And that'll be under the hashtag 2023 CWP30. So I'm just gonna fold this a little bit and stick it in there. All right, folks. That is it. That is Margarete Miller for this week. Jim and Sue lived happily ever after, and Jim had all his memories of when he was in France during the war. I hope y'all have a wonderful day, and I will see you back next week. Thanks for stopping by. Bye.